Ray Rice was once one of the NFL's top running backs, known for his impressive performance on the field, until controversy brought his career to a sudden halt. Drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the second round of the 2008 NFL Draft, he quickly became their offensive centerpiece. He earned 3 Pro Bowl selections, rushed for over 6,000 yards, and played a key role in the Ravens' Super Bowl 47 victory in the 2012 season. His jersey sold, his highlights trended, and his reputation seemed set in stone. That changed in February 2014. Rice and his then-fiancée, Janae Palmer, were involved in a physical altercation at the Revel Casino in Atlantic City. The first publicly released security footage showed Rice dragging an unconscious Palmer out of an elevator. The NFL responded with a 2-game suspension, a punishment widely criticized for its leniency, especially compared to harsher penalties handed down for drug violations. Then came the turning point. In September 2014, another video emerged showing the moment of the incident inside the elevator. Rice striking Palmer, causing her to fall and lose consciousness. The reaction was immediate and intense. The Baltimore Ravens terminated his contract the same day the video was released, and the NFL issued an indefinite suspension. Public pressure mounted on Commissioner Roger Goodell and league leadership. The handling of the case triggered a national conversation about the NFL's response to domestic violence. Within weeks, the league announced a new, stricter personal conduct policy, which increased penalties for domestic abuse and revised the disciplinary process. Rice appealed his indefinite suspension and won reinstatement later that year when a federal judge ruled that the league had effectively punished him twice for the same offense. But reinstatement didn't lead to a second chance. No team signed him again. His NFL career ended at just 27 years old. Adrian Peterson. Before controversy ever entered the conversation, Peterson was a human highlight reel. Drafted 7th overall in 2007 by the Minnesota Vikings, he exploded onto the scene with 1,341 rushing yards in his rookie year. In 2008, he led the league in rushing with 1,760 yards. And in 2012, just months after tearing his ACL and MCL, he shocked the world with 2,097 rushing yards, just 9 yards short of the all-time single-season record. That performance earned him the NFL MVP. Fans didn't just call him elite, they called him unstoppable. Fast forward to September 2014. Texas authorities indicted Peterson on charges of reckless or negligent injury to a child after using a wooden switch to discipline his 4-year-old son. Photos of the injuries became public and ignited national outrage. The Vikings initially deactivated him from team activities. Days later, he was placed on the NFL's commissioner's exempt list, meaning he was still under contract but barred from playing. Peterson later reached a plea agreement: no jail time, a misdemeanor assault conviction, a $4,000 fine, and community service. But that didn't end the fallout. In November, Commissioner Roger Goodell suspended him indefinitely under the league's updated personal conduct policy, citing the need for accountability and consistency after a string of off-field controversies around the league. The decision split fans and analysts. Some argued Peterson was being unfairly punished for a disciplinary practice common in many households. Others believed the league's response still wasn't strong enough. What was clear was this: the NFL was sending a message. In April 2015, Peterson was reinstated, and he didn't return quietly. That same year, he once again led the league in rushing with 1,485 yards at age 30. Tom Brady wasn't supposed to become a headline for a scandal. By 2015, he was already a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, and the unrivaled face of the New England Patriots dynasty. A 6th-round draft pick turned icon. Untouchable, unshakable, unbeatable. But one January night changed everything. On January 18th, 2015, the Patriots crushed the Indianapolis Colts 45-7 in the AFC Championship game. The scoreboard wasn't controversial. What came after was. Officials reported that several of New England's footballs were under the league's minimum inflation requirement. The whispers started immediately. By the next morning, the word Deflategate had entered the sports lexicon. The NFL launched an investigation and brought in attorney Ted Wells to lead it. Months later, in May 2015, the Wells report dropped, 243 pages long. It didn't offer hard proof that Brady ordered tampering, but it stated it was more probable than not that team staff had deflated footballs and that Brady was generally aware of it. The conclusions rested heavily on text messages between equipment personnel and circumstantial evidence. That was enough for Commissioner Roger Goodell. the NFL suspended Brady for 4 games, fined the Patriots $1 million, and stripped the team of a first-round and fourth-round draft pick. Brady and the NFL Players Association went straight to court, arguing the league overstepped. For a moment, they won. In September 2015, Judge Richard Berman vacated the suspension, and Brady played the entire 2015 season. But the saga wasn't over. The league appealed, and in April 2016, a federal appeals court reinstated the 4-game ban. Brady, rather than continue the legal fight, accepted the suspension and sat out the first 4 games of the 2016 season. Then he came back swinging. Brady returned and led the Patriots to Super Bowl 51, where they engineered one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history, overcoming a 28-3 deficit against the Atlanta Falcons to win another championship. By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot more interesting videos on the channel. I'll greatly appreciate it if you could show support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you. Ezekiel Elliott didn't just arrive in the NFL, he detonated onto the field. Drafted 4th overall by the Dallas Cowboys in 2016, he became the league's rushing leader as a rookie. 1,631 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns, a Pro Bowl selection and first-team All-Pro honor, all in year 1. He looked like the new face of America's team. But in 2017, football headlines collided with controversy. The NFL had spent more than a year investigating allegations of domestic violence made by Elliott's former girlfriend, Tiffany Thompson, tied to incidents in July 2016 in Columbus, Ohio. Police took statements and gathered evidence, but prosecutors declined to file charges, citing conflicting and inconsistent information. The NFL, under its personal conduct policy, ran its own independent review. Interviews, text messages, photographs, and expert consultations became part of the case file. The conclusion: Elliott had violated league policy. In August 2017, the NFL announced a 6-game suspension. Elliott denied the allegations. The NFL Players Association appealed the ruling. A federal judge granted a temporary restraining order that let Elliott continue playing while the case moved through court. For weeks, legal rulings bounced between jurisdictions. Eventually, a federal appeals court vacated the injunction, reinstating the suspension. By November 2017, Elliott withdrew further appeals and began serving the 6 games. During that time, he trained privately in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, working with personal trainers to stay in peak condition. Before the suspension took effect, he had already surpassed 2,600 rushing yards in just 25 career games. Even after missing those 6 games, he closed the 2017 season with 983 rushing yards in only 10 appearances. The case ignited intense public debate. Some pointed to the absence of criminal charges, others focused on the NFL's authority to act independently of the legal system. Elliott returned to the field and resumed his role as one of the league's top running backs. But his suspension became a benchmark for how the NFL handles investigations without courtroom convictions. Ben Roethlisberger wasn't just another quarterback, he was a storm in shoulder pads. He entered the NFL in 2004 as the 11th overall pick and immediately altered the trajectory of the Pittsburgh Steelers. As a rookie starter, he went 15-1, the best record ever for a first-year quarterback. 2 seasons later, at just 23, he became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl, leading Pittsburgh to victory in Super Bowl 40. By the time he claimed a 2nd ring in Super Bowl 43, his legacy looked untouchable. But in 2010, everything changed. In March of that year, a 20-year-old woman accused Roethlisberger of sexual assault in a bar bathroom in Milledgeville, Georgia. Prosecutors eventually announced they would not file criminal charges, pointing to insufficient evidence to move forward. But the absence of charges didn't mean the absence of consequences. Under the NFL's personal conduct policy, Commissioner Roger Goodell launched an independent investigation. League findings concluded that Roethlisberger's behavior violated the standards expected of players, even without a conviction. In April 2010, Goodell issued a 6-game suspension, the first time in the modern NFL that a player was disciplined this severely without an arrest or trial. The suspension was later reduced to 4 games after Roethlisberger completed mandated behavioral evaluations and counseling. Public reaction was split. Some fans believed the punishment overreached, while others felt it wasn't strong enough. Sponsors distanced themselves. The Steelers' ownership made it clear they expected change. Roethlisberger's image, once built on winning and toughness, was tested in a very public way. But when he returned in Week 6 of the 2010 season, he did what he had always done. He won. That same year, he led the Steelers to another Super Bowl appearance, this time in Super Bowl 45. By the end of his 18-year career, he had thrown for more than 64,000 yards, passed for 418 touchdowns, earned 6 Pro Bowl selections, and retired in 2022 as one of the most prolific quarterbacks the league has ever seen. Darren Sharper earned a reputation as one of the most feared safeties of his era, a playmaker whose instincts regularly turned defense into must-see moments. But how does a career built on greatness become one of the NFL's darkest cautionary tales? Darren Sharper entered the league in 1997 after being drafted in the second round by the Green Bay Packers. From day one, he stood out. Fast, disciplined, and dangerous with the ball in the air. In Green Bay, he helped anchor a defense that made regular playoff pushes. His reputation grew even more after joining the Minnesota Vikings in 2005. That's where he piled up interceptions, Pro Bowl selections, and national respect. Over 14 seasons, Sharper earned 5 Pro Bowl nods and 6 All-Pro selections, including first-team honors. He finished his career with 63 interceptions, tied for 5th most in NFL history. His final chapter on the field came with the New Orleans Saints, where he helped secure a Super Bowl 44 championship in 2009. But off the field, a far different story was unfolding. In 2014, Sharper was arrested after multiple women across several states accused him of drugging and assaulting them. As investigators dug deeper, the allegations spread. California, Arizona, Louisiana, Nevada. The pattern was chilling. The NFL moved swiftly, suspending him indefinitely without pay while investigations continued. But by then, he had already retired from playing. In 2016, Sharper pleaded guilty or no contest to charges in multiple jurisdictions. A federal judge ultimately sentenced him to 18 years in prison, a dramatic and definitive fall for a once-celebrated star. Aaron Hernandez burst into the league in 2010 after being drafted by the New England Patriots. In just 3 seasons, he racked up 175 receptions, nearly 2,000 receiving yards, and 18 touchdowns. Alongside Rob Gronkowski, he helped power New England's offense all the way to Super Bowl 46. But the spotlight was masking a storm no one was ready for. In June of 2013, everything shattered. Hernandez was arrested and charged in connection with the murder of Odin Lloyd, a semi-pro football player with personal ties to him. The Patriots released him immediately before a single court appearance. The NFL didn't suspend him. They didn't have to. His career ended the moment the handcuffs closed. As investigators dug deeper, Hernandez was linked to a 2012 double homicide in Boston. Though he was eventually acquitted in that separate case, the legal weight he faced was overwhelming. In 2015, he was convicted of first-degree murder for the Odin Lloyd case and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. From a rising name in the league to a life sentence before turning 26. Then, in 2017, he was found dead in his prison cell. His death closed the book on one of the most shocking collapses in NFL history. Hernandez never received a formal suspension because his downfall was immediate and irreversible. Josh Gordon carried more than just talent. He was a storm always on the edge of breaking loose. And when it did, the NFL had no idea what was coming. Gordon flashed glimpses of dominance at Baylor in 2010, averaging over 16 yards per catch. But before he could finish his college career, off-field issues pushed him out. Still, his upside was too big to ignore. In 2012, the Cleveland Browns spent a second-round pick in the supplemental draft to bring him in. It was a gamble, one they hoped would pay off. And then came 2013. Despite missing the first 2 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy, Gordon led the entire NFL with 1,646 receiving yards. He caught 87 passes, delivered back-to-back 200-yard games, and looked like the next great wide receiver. But even in that breakout year, the warnings were there. His 2013 suspension was just the start. In 2014, he was suspended again, initially for the entire season, before it was reduced to 10 games. The turning point came in 2015. Another violation led to a season-long suspension. Public debate exploded. Was the NFL being too harsh, or was Gordon unable to stay within the rules? After missing nearly 3 full seasons, Gordon was reinstated late in 2017. Even in limited action, his talent still flashed. In 2018, the Browns traded him to the New England Patriots. In just 11 games, he racked up 720 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady trusted him. Defenses respected him. But that December, Gordon stepped away and was suspended indefinitely once again. He returned in 2019, then joined the Seattle Seahawks, only to be suspended again. In 2021, the Kansas City Chiefs signed him after yet another conditional reinstatement. But the pattern continued. Short stints, fresh headlines, another setback. In 2020, the NFL changed its stance on marijuana, drastically reducing suspension penalties. But by that point, Gordon had already missed over 50 games, nearly 4 full seasons of his prime. In a league built on second chances, Josh Gordon got many. But sometimes, the hardest opponent is yourself. Martavis Bryant quickly made his presence felt with the Pittsburgh Steelers, turning heads with his explosive speed and playmaking ability from the very start. At 6'4" with breakaway speed, he debuted in Week 7 and immediately shocked defenses, scoring 8 touchdowns in just 10 games. Pittsburgh fans thought they'd found their next superstar, but then, the cracks started showing. In August 2015, Bryant was suspended for 4 games for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. The team waited. Fans expected a comeback. And when he returned, he delivered. In the 2015 season, Bryant put up 765 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in only 11 games, including clutch playoff performances. He looked unstoppable. But the off-field issues weren't done. In March 2016, the NFL suspended him for at least 1 full year, again for substance policy violations. This wasn't a warning. It was a removal, gone for the entire 2016 season, during what should have been his athletic peak. After serving the suspension, Bryant was conditionally reinstated in April 2017. He played 15 games for the Steelers that year, posting 603 yards and 3 touchdowns. But trust inside the organization had thinned. Then came a fresh start, or so it seemed. In April 2018, Bryant was traded to the Oakland Raiders during the NFL draft, but instead of revival, another setback hit. By December 2018, the NFL suspended him indefinitely for yet another violation of its substance abuse policy. From that moment on, he never played another NFL snap. Bryant chased opportunities in the CFL, XFL, and fan-controlled football, trying to reignite what once looked like a Pro Bowl future. But the league he dominated early on had already moved forward. Aldon Smith's arrival in San Francisco in 2011 marked the beginning of a career defined by raw power and relentless energy. From the moment he stepped onto the field, he showed incredible speed, strength, and skill. People watched in awe as he ran past offensive linemen and chased quarterbacks. In just his second season, Smith recorded an amazing 19.5 sacks. This broke many expectations and earned him All-Pro honors, which is a special recognition for the very best players in the league. He became the fastest player in NFL history to reach 30 career sacks. On the field, everything looked perfect. Fans and analysts believed his future was unstoppable, and many thought he would become one of the all-time greats. But off the field, things were not going well. In 2014, Smith faced serious problems. He was suspended for 9 games because he broke the NFL's rules about personal conduct and substance use. That same year, he was arrested for driving under the influence and leaving the scene of an accident. These events caused the 49ers to release him from the team. The NFL also handed him a 1-year suspension. His promising career now had big obstacles that he needed to overcome. A second chance came when the Oakland Raiders signed him. But problems continued. In 2016, Smith was arrested for public intoxication after crashing a vehicle into a police car. The Raiders decided to release him, and the NFL's disciplinary rules made it harder for him to return to the league. After 5 years away from football, Smith returned in 2020 with the Dallas Cowboys. He played all 16 games, recording 5 sacks and 48 tackles. He showed glimpses of the player he had once been. Yet, legal trouble followed him, and in 2021, he was arrested again for assault in New Orleans. Michael Vick. From the moment he stepped onto the field at Virginia Tech, Vick was a phenomenon. His arm strength, agility, and playmaking ability redefined the quarterback position. Drafted first overall by the Atlanta Falcons in 2001, Vick became the face of a new era in the NFL. He led the Falcons to the playoffs multiple times, earning Pro Bowl honors and captivating fans with his dynamic style of play. But in 2007, everything changed. Vick was arrested for his involvement in a dogfighting ring, Bad News Kennels. The revelations were shocking. The NFL acted swiftly, suspending Vick indefinitely without pay. Commissioner Roger Goodell called his actions not only illegal, but also cruel and reprehensible. Vick served 21 months in federal prison, a fall from grace that seemed irreversible. Yet in 2009, Vic returned to the NFL, signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. His comeback was nothing short of remarkable. In 2010, he was named the NFL Comeback Player of the Year, showcasing his resilience and determination. Off the field, Vic worked tirelessly to rehabilitate his image, speaking out against dogfighting and advocating for animal rights. In 2024, he took on a new challenge, becoming the head coach of Norfolk State University's football program, aiming to inspire the next generation of athletes. Kareem Hunt was a star from the very beginning of his NFL career. In 2017, he joined the league as a rookie and quickly became one of the most exciting players to watch. He ran the ball with amazing speed, dodging defenders and scoring touchdowns like it was easy. That year, Hunt led the whole league in rushing yards and touchdowns. Everyone thought his future in football would be huge, and he seemed unstoppable on the field. Fans loved watching him play, and he quickly became one of the most popular players in the NFL. But in November 2018, something happened that changed everything. A video appeared showing Hunt in a violent fight with a woman outside a hotel in Cleveland. People were shocked when they saw it. The Kansas City Chiefs, his team at the time, acted very quickly. They put him on the commissioner-exempt list and then released him from the team. The main reason was that Hunt had not been honest about what happened when the team asked him questions. It was a serious moment that reminded everyone that actions off the field can have big consequences. Even after this controversy, Hunt was still very talented. In February 2019, the Cleveland Browns gave him another chance and signed him to play for their team. The NFL also stepped in and gave Hunt an 8-game suspension because he had broken the league's personal conduct rules. After finishing his suspension, Hunt came back to play. He worked hard and helped the Browns in many games, showing that he wanted to improve and rebuild his career. In 2024, the Kansas City Chiefs decided to give Hunt another opportunity. They signed him again, and coach Andy Reid said Hunt had grown and learned from his mistakes since 2018. Justin Blackmon, a wide receiver who many people thought could change the NFL. When he was drafted 5th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2012, everyone had very high hopes for him. People believed he could become one of the best players in the league. Before entering the NFL, Justin had played at Oklahoma State, where he was amazing. He caught so many passes and scored so many touchdowns that he won the Biletnikoff Award 2 years in a row in 2010 and 2011. This award is given to the best college football receiver in the whole country. Scouts and experts said he was one of the most exciting and fastest wide receivers they had ever seen in college football. Justin's first year in the NFL, called his rookie season, was very good. He caught 64 passes, ran for 865 yards, and scored 5 touchdowns. This performance earned him a spot on the PFWA All-Rookie team, which is a special recognition for the best new players. Fans saw flashes of the superstar everyone expected him to become, but not everything went perfectly. Off the field, Justin began having problems. In 2013, he was suspended for the first time because he broke the NFL's rules about substances. Later that year, in November, he was suspended again, this time indefinitely, which means there was no set return date. In 2014, he was arrested for marijuana possession. These problems made it very hard for him to continue playing in the NFL. By 2015, the Jaguars announced he would not be coming back to the team, which ended his NFL career. Even with these challenges, Justin's college achievements are remembered. In 2024, he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. This honored all the amazing records and performances he had at Oklahoma State and showed how talented he really was. Deshaun Watson emerged as one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the NFL. He was drafted 12th overall by the Houston Texans in 2017, and fans had huge hopes for him. On the field, Watson was amazing. He could throw the ball far, run past defenders, and make plays that few quarterbacks could. By 2020, he led the NFL with 4,823 passing yards and threw 33 touchdowns. He earned Pro Bowl honors and became the face of the Texans franchise. People called him one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it seemed like he could do almost anything on the field. But off the field, Watson faced serious problems. In 2021, dozens of women accused him of sexual misconduct during massage sessions. These cases made headlines and caused a lot of discussion. While he was not charged with a crime, the NFL reviewed the situation carefully. In 2022, the league suspended Watson for 11 games, fined him $5 million, and required him to get evaluation and treatment. Many fans and analysts debated the punishment. Some thought it was fair, while others felt it was too short. The suspension showed how the NFL deals with player behavior and how important accountability is. Watson returned to play in December 2022 with the Cleveland Browns, but every play was watched closely. In 2024, he suffered a season-ending Achilles injury, making his future uncertain. Adam Pacman-Jones was one of the NFL's brightest stars. Drafted 6th overall by the Tennessee Titans in 2005, he dazzled with his speed and playmaking. By 2006, he was a Pro Bowl cornerback, showing the kind of talent that could dominate games. But off the field, his career was already on shaky ground. In 2006, he faced misdemeanor assault charges at a Nashville nightclub. Just months later, during NBA All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas, a violent altercation at a strip club ended with a gunshot outside, leaving a man paralyzed. In April 2007, Commissioner Roger Goodell made a bold decision. Jones was suspended for the entire season under the NFL's personal conduct policy. It was the first full-season suspension for a non-substance abuse violation in over 4 decades, sending shockwaves through the league. After sitting out a year, Jones returned to the NFL, joining the Dallas Cowboys and later the Cincinnati Bengals. Despite the setbacks, he earned first-team All-Pro honors in 2014 and a Pro Bowl selection in 2015, proving his talent could not be ignored. Drop a comment below. Whose suspension shocked you the most? We want to hear your take. Tank Johnson. He rose to prominence during the mid-2000s. The Chicago Bears defense was a force to be reckoned with. And at the heart of that defense stood a towering presence, Terry Tank Johnson. Drafted in the second round of the 2004 NFL Draft, Tank quickly became a cornerstone of the Bears' defensive line. With 14 sacks and 135 tackles over his career, he was a nightmare for opposing offenses. But behind the helmet and pads, a different story was unfolding. In December 2006, police raided Johnson's home and discovered 6 firearms, including 2 assault rifles, some loaded with children present. Already on probation for a previous gun-related offense, this violation led to a 60-day jail sentence. The NFL, under Commissioner Roger Goodell's new personal conduct policy, took swift action. Johnson was suspended for the first 8 games of the 2007 season, a decision that sent shockwaves through the league. Despite the suspension, Johnson's career wasn't over. He was waived by the Bears but found a new home with the Dallas Cowboys, where he played for 2 seasons before joining the Cincinnati Bengals. From the roar of Soldier Field to the silence of a courtroom, Tank Johnson's legacy is one of both triumph and turmoil. Plaxico Burress, in 2008, stood as a hero, his game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 42 securing the New York Giants' stunning victory over the New England Patriots. But just months later, the same man would become the center of one of the NFL's most controversial stories. November 28, 2008. A night out in Manhattan. Burress accidentally shot himself in the leg with an unregistered firearm tucked in his waistband. The incident led to a legal storm, charges of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree. Facing up to 15 years in prison, Burress pled guilty to attempted criminal possession of a weapon. In August 2009, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison, beginning his term shortly after the verdict. His departure was tearful. A Super Bowl champion, now a convicted felon. The NFL suspended him for the remainder of the 2008 season, and the Giants released him in April 2009. Yet Burress's tale didn't end there. After serving 20 months, he returned to the NFL in 2011 with the New York Jets, proving that even in the face of controversy, redemption is possible. Calvin Ridley, a standout wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, had quickly become one of the league's brightest stars. Drafted in the first round, Ridley showcased exceptional skill, recording over 1,000 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons and earning a spot on the 2020 All-Pro team. But in October 2021, Ridley stepped away from football, citing mental health concerns. What seemed like a personal decision would soon take a controversial turn. In March 2022, the NFL announced that Ridley had been suspended indefinitely for betting on NFL games during a 5-day period in November 2021. The league's decision was clear. The integrity of the game must be upheld. Ridley admitted to betting $1,500, stating he had no gambling problem, yet the NFL's stance remained firm. Commissioner Roger Goodell emphasized, "Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk and potentially undermine the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL." After serving his suspension, Ridley applied for reinstatement and was officially reinstated by the NFL in March 2023. He was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars, marking a new chapter in his career. In 2024, Ridley signed a 4-year, $92 million contract with the Tennessee Titans, including $50 million guaranteed, signaling his return to elite form. Now with the Titans, Ridley is mentoring rookie quarterback Cam Ward, determined to prove that his past mistake won't define his future. These players' stories show just how thin the line can be between fame and controversy in the NFL. Every suspension or ban leaves a mark, not just on careers, but on the league itself. If you enjoyed this video, I'll be posting many more interesting videos on the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you very much.